All right, time for my grown-up voice. What's going on, everybody? This is Rob Garcia, the Warrior Strategist, and I have a tremendous interview for you guys today. As you guys know, I don't keep a regular, consistent broadcasting schedule, which probably is what keeps me from breaking out and becoming super famous. But today, I decided to be spontaneous, to take a chance, and to reach out to one of my good friends who just hit a giant milestone in business and released a book. So we're going to talk about it, and we are broadcasting to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter, and we even broadcast to Vetpreneur Tribe, which me and Rich are both members of as veterans. The reason we're going out to Vetpreneur Tribe is because we got a lot of veteran-owned podcasters, a lot of veteran-owned media. Rich is the creator of the Vertical Momentum podcast, and I'm the creator of Shift Advanced Life Design magazine. And oddly enough, a lot of the strategies I use for magazine profitability and outbound readership and audience building transitions over to podcasts, which is why what Rich does is so important. So we can both give some heads up, some advice. If anyone in Vet Tribe has a podcast or has a media platform of some sort, whether it's an email list or a newsletter or a magazine or whatever, feel free to ask us questions. We'll be here to help you guys and guide you. So, Rich, let's get started, dude. So you wrote a book. Tell me about the podcasting blueprint.
It's podcasting in a box. I've spent over $60,000, over 11,000 hours taking courses by Robert Garcia, Zach Babcock, John Lee Dumas, Travis Johnson, Eric Allen. So I took everything that I was taught and put everything into one book, 47 pages of heat. This way you can do everything that I've done. Obviously, I didn't come up with any of this stuff by myself. I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants, but I just wanted one book, so one person go from thought to profit in 8 weeks just by following these steps.
I like this. And Rich, you and I have had parallel paths. We've been in business about the same amount of time. And both of us, grew up from nothing. We grew up from imagination and air, much to the detriment of people that would like to see us fail. And for you and I, there aren't a ton of people that hate us, but there's a few we probably annoy here and there. And it must really just grind their gears to see us winning. And it's awesome to see the growth, brother, to see the evolution of what Vertical Momentum is. Who are some of the biggest people you've interviewed on Vertical Momentum?
Well, first of all, I got to give a big shout out to the Warrior Council, because without the Warrior Council, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So Marshall and you and Corey, all those guys, without them, I wouldn't be what I'm doing today. But probably some of the biggest interviews were Kanan. You hooked me up with Mr. Kanan, Cobra Kai. The authors of Rich Dad, Poor Dad came on. Steve Sims, David Meltzer. I just had a reality star on yesterday. So, but some of those, those are just stars. But then you have people like General Petraeus that has come on. So many people like Annette Wittenberger, Tammy Moses, that have come back from trauma and to change the world. So every person is special that's been on the show. And I have relationships with everybody I've been on my show. I'm friends with every single one of them, all 1,200 of them.
That's why people really gravitate to you, Rich, is because you treat everybody like they're a multimillionaire. And I really strive to be like that, to where I have an old expression, treat janitors like CEOs and treat CEOs like janitors. And that's always the way I've tried to live my life. If you have a healthy amount of respect for everybody, regardless of social status, you're definitely going to do better in life. And I just imagine every person I encounter as an 06, and how would I render courtesy to them, if they were an 06 standing in front of me in uniform. And that's always helped me to kind of keep level-headed and keep grounded. So that's something to say for your humility, Rich. We're joined on here by Brett Davis. We were both just saying really nice things about Brett. It's pretty easy to do.
I love me some Brett Davis. I love me some Brett Davis.
Changed my life for sure, and it's an honor to be his director of strategy at now Blue Lapis Media. Brett just did a rebrand, and If you guys need a branded podcast, I'm going to do this early because he's watching. If you guys need a branded podcast, Brett has an amazing service where he will actually create your podcast for you. He takes care of the editing. He takes care of the graphics. He takes care of the distribution. We can even help you with the guest list. A complete done-for-you podcast service. To find out more, just email him at talkwithbrett@gmail.com. It's at the bottom on the rolling scroll. But for those of you that want to start a podcast, but maybe you don't have time for all the editing and the nuances and the logistics, Brett has a complete done-for-you package that is very reasonably priced. Reach out to him, talkwithbrett at gmail.com. And we got Levin popping in. Stephanie Treasure, who is a veteran and a magazine owner. So she also went the route of starting a magazine. I've seen her magazine. It's very well done. And Stephanie, if you want to drop a link in comments, feel free so that people can check out your work. You've done an amazing job on it. Very high production value. That's always something I'm trying to do with Shift Magazine. So going back to Rich, now that we shouted out everybody watching us. Rich, the thing I like about this book, The Podcasting Blueprint, first of all, it's a reverse engineering because you recently hit the milestone of 2 million lifetime downloads for all your episodes. And you broke this down. The very first lesson that people can take away from this, how important is it to interview famous people at every chance you get?
Well, actually, if you look at the back cover, look who endorses the book. Look who taught me. Look who my teacher was. John Lee Dumas, the #1 entrepreneurial podcast in the world. But something that I've learned is sometimes if you're interviewing famous people, you're going to get low downloads, to where if you interview somebody that has an interesting story, it's going to get a lot more reach. Because if I have Steve Sims on and he's been on 8 podcasts this week, he's probably not going to share my episode. But if I have Joe Smith from down the street come on my show, he's probably going to share it out to everybody. So if you are going to have somebody famous on the show, make sure that you build a relationship with them and don't ask them questions that everybody else asked him. I had Steve Sims on and he said, "Are you going to ask me about Elton John?" And I'm like, "I don't give a shit about Elton John." I told him, I want to find out what it was like being a poor 16-year-old bricklayer dating your wife now. And he shared the episode because we touched on something that nobody ever asked him before.
I love that. I've had Steve Sims on the cover of Shift Magazine. Thank you to Tammy Girl for setting that up, by the way. That was years ago, and she does a great job coordinating. That's a great point, Rich. I never even thought of that. Like the more famous you get, and that is kind of true. I've had a few very famous people very briefly share and then just never ever do anything with it again if they did share. And I actually ended a relationship with somebody, a business relationship, because I gave them cover years and years ago, a Shift, and they didn't share it. They didn't do a single thing to promote it. And I realized, okay, you're not playing the law of reciprocity. So we're not going to do business anymore, and I don't want to really have you in my life. So,
but what I did is, because of that, is now when somebody signs up to come on my show, I make them promise me in writing that they're going to share their podcast on every episode and their email list. So when I call them out on their BS and say, "Hey, you promised, bro."
Yeah.
And I got a 99% share rate.
Reminders are very important. And you know who has it really down is Tom Antion. He'll send you the graphics to use, and he sends you a full media package and email reminders. He's worse than a college girlfriend, because he just gets on you and starts nagging at you until he's like, "Share the damn episode." He's got a lot of automated reminders.
He's got a great podcast, Screw the Commute podcast. So guys, if you don't know about that podcast, definitely check it out.
Yeah, Tom's a great dude. I've been on Screw the Commute a few times, and just the way that he presents information is life-changing. We all met him at when we went to that MIC a couple of years ago in Washington, the one where I missed you by like one day, and everyone's like, "Well, dude, Kaufman was here. You missed him, bro." Shit. One day, Rich. One day.
We got to hook up again.
Yeah, gotta link up, man. So we got Michael Peterson from Mike's Damascus checking us out in comments. What's going on, Mike? Coming live from the Forge, Utah. Good to see him. And Billy, what's going on? Good to see you. All right.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
Nice.
Michael Peterson, I love you, brother.
I got one too. Bam, Mike Peterson, Mike's Damascus. check this out. All right. If you guys need a quality handcrafted knife, check out Michael Peterson at Mike's Damascus Knives. Amazing company. This one has my name on it. And we just had a little technical blip. Rich is going to pop right back in, hopefully. There we go. And he's back.
There you go. We got so excited that the knife just cut us off. It was that sharp.
That's right. That's how sharp Mike's knives are. Good save. All right. So the book itself, I looked through it. It is very, very to the point. Like, you did not mess around. There is no fluff. This goes right to the heart of what people need to do to build strategy. And we talk about, like, chapter 2 is the importance of finding your niche and target audience. And Rich, I'll tell you, this took me 3 to 4 years to learn. Do not release something without an audience first. Build the audience first. My God. For anything you're going to do, have a loyal audience first. Do not put it out there and hope people will gravitate to it. They won't. What are the things that you have done to grow your audience?
Well, I took your courses. And without taking your courses, and I still use the first book you ever sent me. I use it every day in my business. So for me, that was what pushed me to forward. But also, taking all these different courses. Like I said, I spent over 11,000 hours learning this stuff. But finding mentors, I had to hire John Lee Dumas. I had to put the money out so I can be taught by him. And so, unfortunately, as veterans, sometimes we could be cheap as fuck. We'll have a $1,500 smartphone, but afraid to spend $1,000 to get somebody to teach me how to make $10,000. So I had to stop being cheap and realize, okay, I need to hire a mentor to teach me what I don't know, because I don't know what I don't know. So that's why I spend a lot of money and hours on courses learning how to do what I do.
There's a giant lesson here that we're going to foot stomp right there about investing in your business, Rich. And so when I got back from the Middle East, I invested actually quite a few bucks into Jillian Sandoval, also known as Jillian Clark, to help me with my business. She was a proven business leader. And I made, I want to say, 6 times what I invested in her. 6 times. So there's an importance to investing in your business, investing in the right people, and the universe will reward you if you make the right choices about what you're sinking your money into. It's important that you work on poverty mindset, money mindset, especially if you're a veteran. A lot of us are so tight-fisted just because we've either been enlisted for most of our lives and just struggling from LES to LES, or we grew up without money before we came in the military, like me, and it was very it's very traumatizing sometimes because we have these weird relationships with money. We got Coach Lori Wagner popping on, and Lori has given us all kinds of compliments and nice things. Great to see Coach Lori, another person that is very good at unlocking money mindset, helping people to develop to that next level of who they need to be. Lori says the universe matches the energy you put out.
But also, I got to say is I've never once just said, "Hey, bro, why don't you send me your course for free?" I just said, "Send me the invoice." Show,
yeah.
If I'm going to invest in you and ask you to invest in me, it's reciprocal. And for people that just do that "hey, bro" thing, you're never going to get past that 5, 6 digits. If you're just
nobody ever became a
bro.
millionaire from grabbing freebies. I always say that. And there is a place for freebies. Don't get me wrong. There is an absolute place for freebies. But if you are more of a freebie collector versus somebody that takes action and makes a plan and invests in your business, that's about how much money you're going to make. So just keep that in mind. Freebies exist for a reason. They're for coupon clippers and discount shoppers.
And when I talked to Russell Brunson, something that he told me was that people that pay attention. So if I give you a free gym membership, you're probably not going to go. But if they're taking $200 a month out of your check, you're probably going to go.
Nailed it. Nailed it. And we should definitely veer back to the book though, because you and I can talk business all day long, dude. We got Joey Brown from the Wonder Marketing System, of course, Kevin Baker. The book itself, I mean, there's so many business lessons in here as well. But honestly, Rich, the reason I like this so much is because you tell the exact resources that you use, the websites, the actual equipment. There are all kinds of links in here, and I know you're going to add what's it called, QR codes, so it'll be nice and scannable when people get the printed copy for ease of use. This is going to be both printed and ebook, right, Rich?
Well, yeah. Well, the great thing, ebook and a printed copy. The ebook goes out on the first, and when you get the ebook, you're actually going to be able to click each one of those links, and it goes right to where you need to go. So if you want to start a podcast on Podbean, click here, goes right there. If you want to talk to John Lee Dumas, click here, goes right there. So I made it to where it's podcasting in a box. But I'm also offering a one-time that if you want me to coach you and get you to that profitability in 8 weeks, you also can hire me as your coach to take you from thought to profit in 8 weeks.
How long did it take you to produce this book?
Probably about 5 months, because I had to go back through I read again through all the courses that I took, and I'm like, well, what worked here, what didn't work here, what can I do, where can I take all the fluff out to just get the hard hitting facts? Because it's this way you can sit down with 2 hours, you can have a podcast almost ready to go.
I love it. The one thing I did that I needed to go back and work on actually is I put a series of QR codes where people could join my Facebook group, my blog, read the magazine, and then my YouTube channel. So I did all my social media right there, scannable, where people can just pop in and subscribe when I wrote my my PR book. So yeah, these are all little things that you need to think about when you're doing a print version versus a digital version, because the strategies are different.
But if you look at the opening quote, there's a superstar that actually wrote the opening quote. I mean, he's the superstar, stud muffin galore.
Yeah, Travis Johnson. I see it.
Yeah, he wrote the forward, but you've been quoted in there, and John Lee Dumas. So I picked up the 3 biggest superstars I know to be in the book, because those are the people that actually affected me the most.
I'm going to read this quote actually, because it was very heartfelt and it was very inspiring. So this is what I wrote for his opening, guys. Richard Kaufman is the epitome of podcast-based media. The evolution of radio into podcast gave entrepreneurs the ability to create home-based global media centered around their brand. Rich shocked the world with his perseverance, humility, and love for his fellow veterans. I can think of no better person to teach you the process of podcasting than a man that reached over 1 million downloads. Dr. Rob Garcia, founder of Shift Magazine. And I meant every word.
But then again, we're going back to mentorship. You can't be great if you don't have mentors. Even Kobe, Michael, LeBron, they all want to be coached. And if you want to be successful, you got to find the right coaches.
Yeah, I wish more people would follow that, and more people need to learn that the ladder works both ways. You should have mentees and you should have mentors. You need proteges. You need people that you're going to bring up the ranks as well. No matter where you're at in business, there's always somebody that wants to learn from you. I got a few people on Reddit actually that I teach business to and PR stuff, so it's kind of fun. And I'm about to get some interns as well, so I'm working on that. Rich, where can we find this book?
Well, right now it's going to be available May 1st on Amazon. But right now they can get in touch with me. The offer ended on the 15th, but we'll pass it through because of Rob. If you get the book, which will be $30, you can, and I'll send you the PayPal. You can send it to me. I'm going to autograph it, send you something special in the mail like I did with Rob, right to your house. I'm also going to give you, if you buy it for $30, you're going to get a $997 value. And I know a lot of people think, well, that sounds fake. Well, when you come on my show, your podcast, I mean, your show, your business is going to go out to over 100,000 people. And it goes out in perpetuity, which means if you come on my show, so I'm going to have you on my show as a business owner, it's going to be stuck on YouTube and Pinterest forever. So you're going to be making money 5-10 years down the road just by being on my show once. So, and I promote you on 35 different social media platforms, and that's all included for $30.
Love it, Rich. That's a hell of an offer, and I know you got reach. And I'll tell you guys firsthand, I don't endorse just anybody. I endorse the good ones, the ones that stand the test of time, the ones that provide what they promise, the ones that are out doing good things for people. Rich is the real deal. So take him up on this offer, get your hands on this book, get this interview, and watch the promotion numbers go up, the website views, all that good stuff. Rich has really high production value, and he really cares about putting out the best product possible, which is why he has a great reputation. Rich, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything you want to say before we head out?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to you and to my business coach. Again, hiring somebody. I've paid over 5 figures to Mr. Joe Nicasio. So if you guys don't know Joe Nicasio, you need to know Joe, because without him being my business coach, we wouldn't be approaching the numbers that we are. So I forgot to mention Joe in the book, but I wanted to mention him now, because without him, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So if you don't know Joe, the employee escape plan, make sure you know Joe Nicasio.
Yeah, great guy. Comes on my calls sometimes, just drops amazing amounts of knowledge. I'm lucky enough to have met him like twice in person. All right, thank you. The book itself is The Podcasting Blueprint, Mastering Purpose, Power, and Profit, How We Hit Over 2 million Downloads. The author is the legendary Richard Kaufman, creator of the Vertical Momentum podcast. Thank you so much, Rich, for this spontaneous interview. Hopefully this will get a lot of people reaching out to you for podcast assistance. And if you guys need a done-for-you podcast, reach out to Brett Davis at talkwithbrett@gmail.com, and Brett can get you set up with an interview. You can talk about what you need for podcasting, and he will get you all set up. That plus Rich's book will get you to the top of the charts. This is Rob Garcia, the Warrior Strategist, and I will see you next time. As always, stay famous.